Afternoon. How are we all doing? Afternoon, Chucks. Forex boy. Hi, what's gonna be? What do you think? Think CAD will drop because numbers look bad? Could be possible. Good 50-50. Afternoon, Reverend. Alex. I think CAD will drop 50-50. See, Alex agrees with me. It's 50-50, Forex boy. You know what? I can guarantee you one thing. If you have a look at the US dollar CAD right now, it will either go up or down in the next 15 minutes. Afternoon, FTNet, Amy, Paul, Peter, Evil. Afternoon, David. Good day, Goat. Meh. Afternoon, Danny, Gina, Roswitha, Igosa, Callum, Mark, Champagne, Pappy, Lax, Sarah, and Virginia. How are we all doing? Sarah, you've got a caps lock problem there. Right. So this afternoon we are looking at the CAD. It's the CPI numbers, so we'll find out what's going on with CPI this afternoon. Inflation. That's 130 in the next 10 minutes or so. Forecasts are down on everything, so the market is expecting that CPI number to drop. That's what's been factored in and forecast. So you don't have to apologize, Sarah. I was just telling you. It is okay to type in opposite caps if you want to. I don't mind. So forecasts are down. If they come out as forecast, there's a chance we might see a little weakness in the CAD this afternoon, but don't forget the market will have already factored that in. The other side is obviously if we get a 0.6, a 2.8, etc., we may well see some strength in the CAD, but very, very difficult to call this one because the forecasts are virtually the same as the last one. So they're not forecasting much change. Therefore, unless we get 0.2, 0.3 percentile differentials, I don't suspect we'll see anything more than an ADR hit. So we'll see what happens. We got Waller speaking this afternoon in half an hour as well, 45 minutes-ish as well. Waller's not expected to say anything exciting, but we have got Bailey speaking later today. So this is possibly the biggest mover today if Bailey has any indication as to what the forecast for CPI will be tomorrow morning. I doubt it, but you never know. So Bailey is basically speaking at the London School of Economics. There will be questions coming out of that, but it's not a press conference as such. So unlikely any pressing questions will necessarily get asked, but we'll see. So we need to be aware of that this afternoon. And obviously tomorrow morning, you need to be aware we've got the New Zealand interest rate coming out overnight. That's going to be a 5.5 as expected. We'll see what the press conference has to say. So the monetary policy statement obviously will give us forward guidance. The press conference will get questions about that forward guidance, which will give us the direction. So we'll see where we go. But this afternoon, in 10 minutes, we've got CAD. There's no ADRs today. As you can see, market is totally flat this week so far. Just not moving. Nothing's moving. Same story. Nothing's moving. ADRs are completely flat. Weekly ranges, nothing so far. It is only Tuesday lunch, so there's plenty of time to go, but there's nothing hit its weekly ranges so far. ADRs obviously being flat. There's not a lot really on a RSI either. So there's no hourly RSIs to look at today. All dead. The only 4 hourlies we've got are the hangovers from yesterday. So Euro Swiss 4-hour RSI to the upside. So that's looking like a nice M pattern formation up here. We are above that monthly high and last week's high, or 2 week ago's high. 3 week ago high. So potentially you got to pull back into here at ADR and at that level there. So there's a potential nice short opportunity Euro Swiss, but not necessarily got a long way to go. That Euro we are expecting to weaken, obviously, as well, but that will weaken the Swiss as well. So this one tends to go into ranges. Euro Pound, nice hit to the downside. Got longs on this one at the moment already. Got 2 longs on this, looking for a target back up into this propulsion gap. See it easier on the hourly. So this potential support we hit here, that's the propulsion gap that broke it. So I'm looking to get out a 125 ADR if we can get push up there. Pound CAD also extended. Obviously, this one, I've got shorts on this one at the moment. Either going to hit target or not this afternoon. If it goes the other way because we get a strong CAD, it goes the other way. If it goes the other way because of a strong CAD, we've got this massive RSI extension on the 4 hour. Hasn't batted an eyelid on this move so far. So I'm looking for a target back down into these highs for a test of that. Potentially a bit further. So I'm going a little bit further down into here. But we'll see where it goes today. I might just shut that out manually if it drops. Pound Swiss, huge extension. So again, same thing. Market is extended, looking for a pullback. I'm not trading the Swiss at the moment, but that's an 80 RSI extension. So that's a really nice looking short if you want to trade Swiss. And yen. No idea. Yen mystery. This yen is just bizarre. They obviously failed at the intervention. That didn't work at all. Well, it did work, but undone. So no idea what's going on with this yen at the moment. Very, 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 very difficult. New Zealand dollar yen, we've got an M pattern reversal going in on the 4 hour. We've had a reversal alert and it's retesting now, but kind of forming a range. So really difficult to know what's going to go on with this. We should get some movement on the US dollar this afternoon with the Canadian dollar because the CAD moves to the US as well. So there's potential for something to start on this today as well. But we'll wait and see. But yeah, these are all parabolic again, these yen pairs. So very odd situation. Afternoon, Neo. How we doing? So that's it really, RSIs and ADRs. There's nothing else to look at there. No other setups. I've got a fair bit of profit on the table at the moment, which I've got protected. So pound New Zealand, just about to stop out on that. So this buy here, basically, I'm just protecting that. And if it drops, I'll add it back on again. Just because obviously got the news. Everything might move on this. Depends how much movement we get. New Zealand dollar CAD. So any CAD you've got, basically any CAD or particularly US dollar you've got profit on, just safeguard it. Either take it now before the news comes out, or at least put some kind of stop in place so that if it, if we get a massive negative reaction to this Canadian dollar, this thing's going to be up here. So there's no point in going into drawdown. Take that money and then put that trade back on again later when it comes up to double top. New Zealand dollar, US dollar as well. I've got that protected. Just this one. It's only a tiny little profit, but obviously if that Canadian dollar weakens, that US will weaken, which will drive that up. So if it drives down, happy days. If it doesn't, take the money, put it back on later. So there we go. Other news overnight, not a lot really. I have to scroll back so far now because of these annoying blue boxes. But this is going back to yesterday evening. We had the Fed coming out yesterday evening. Expect 3 rate cuts this year. I expected 3 rate cuts this year. I do not think that's still appropriate. So basically, Mester just backing up what the other Fed members are saying. Highly unlikely we're going to get more than 1 rate cut this year, if that. So neutral, slightly bullish US. We did have some Japan stuff. There's nothing in there about... Oh, here we go again. There it is. Suzuki opposes excessive Forex volatility. Suzuki to respond as needed on Forex. Here we go again. So more talk about... I didn't see that this morning. I whizzed through this morning and I didn't see that. So more talk about intervention. There we go. So I'm not paying any attention to that because the last time they started saying that, we went $15 against it. Don't believe a word you say anymore. Japan, not interested. Bank of Japan to supply US dollars against collateral. Also, yeah, more. Sure whether that's bullish or bearish. Supply US dollar funds. It's a bit difficult to unpick what they're doing with their monetary policy now, but intervention, obviously, we know what that means. US dollar funds against pooled collateral starting to supply US dollar funds against pooled collateral. I need to look into what that all means. Spot lending of government debt. Okay. So yeah, apart from that, nothing red, nothing exciting anywhere. So we'll wait and see what happens with these rates in a minute. Officials expect further 100 basis point Bank of England cuts in 2025. So that, I think, is a little bit eager. If we're going to go 0.25 drops when we start with the pound, which is potentially going to be August, maybe July, but at the moment it's looking like August time. It really varies, but that means we've got August, September, October, November. So unlike the euro, the pound, when it starts cutting, will have to continuously cut every single month, which might well happen. But that's a hell of a drop, 1%, considering we're not starting until the end of summer. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, bearish pound, that is. So euro and pound, both bearish stance at the moment. We will watch Euro US. No, we won't. Euro CAD, sorry. Because I've got a short on that. And we'll see what happens with this Canadian dollar. So we've got 31 minutes. Got M5. We got 1.5 minutes to go. Big strength coming into the Canadian dollar at before the news, by the looks of things. Yeah, so strength coming into CAD ahead of the news. So we'll see what happens. Really good, strong move. Okay, less than 1 minute. See if we get any ADR hits off of this. Okay, 15 seconds. Big old spread going in now, look. Even bigger. That spread up to there then. Right, that's bearish CAD. So I'll be taken out of those positions in the bank. So 2.6 on the median core month on month is as expected. So it's no news. 2.9 on the trimmed. So it's ever so slightly better for the Canadians. Inflation dropped ever so slightly more year on year than forecast. So, but it's pretty much as you can see, it's an as expected result. So we were forecast of 0.5, that's what we got. We were forecast of 2.9, that's what we got. We were forecast of 2.7 on the median, we got 2.6. So ever so slightly bearish CAD, but not really newsworthy. So I think we'll probably be back down to where we were. I don't think that's going to make an awful lot of difference. Have a quick whiz through. There's no ADRs. So that move there is Around about half an ADR, just shy. Again, half an ADR movement, nothing. So market will digest this now and just see what it thinks, but it is bearish CAD, so everything will rally against the CAD temporarily, but probably not sustained. It's not a big enough drop, not a big enough deviation. That comment hasn't come out yet, but I should imagine it's as forecast. There we go. What pressure does this put on US dollar? Nothing much. Not a lot. 2.6 on the common. So that's come down 0.2. But that's the least important figure. So yeah, overall bearish, but ever so slight. So, what pressure does this put on the US dollar with CAD and Euro having lower inflation? Higher chance of no interest rate cuts. US dollar won't be affected by anything else. US dollar will change its interest rates when it needs to change its interest rates. The way that the markets look at this, or rather the banks look at this, is this needs to be 2%. When it gets towards 2%, you drop this to slow the rate of that drop. If it overshoots 2%, it's bad, so you have to drop this faster. If it bounces up too much, you have to put this up. So basically all that happens with inflation and interest rates is when that goes up, you put that up. That tends to bring that down. When that goes down, you put this down, which tends to bring it back up. The ideal is you sit at 2% inflation, which is good for GDP, good for economy, good for wage growth, good for everything, good for employment. Just if we could have the ideal world, we would be sitting at 2% interest rate, which means everybody slightly gets more and more and more rich. Prices don't go up by too much. You can afford everything. It's just a normal, stable economy. So the US is sitting at 3.4%, still far too high. It's started to ever so slightly tick down. So when this gets down below 3, they will start thinking about dropping that. That doesn't get down below 3. It doesn't matter what happens to that. It doesn't matter what happens to that. Yeah, they look after their own. That's it. All you all do. Yeah, we can't sit. No country is going to sit there and go, oh, I'll tell you what, we'll just wait for the US. Screw it. If that goes down to 0 and we go into some hideous recession, don't worry about it. We'll just wait for the US. It doesn't happen that way. Every country is independent. And this is why Forex is driven by this. Yeah. So if the differential between the US dollar and the yen is in this case 5.4%, yeah, the US dollar yen is going to go up because you're going to put money into it, because you're going to earn money out of it. Yeah, holding money overnight in the US dollar yen makes you money. Yeah, this is what it's all about. This is what drives the Forex market, which is why we are so interested in it. But that's that news today is that hasn't really changed. That hasn't really changed. So there's no reason for that to really change. Yeah, if it came down dramatically, and it has come down, so it's pointing towards, yes, we're getting a bit closer to them dropping that to a 4.75 to see what happens. Right, we're off. US dollar CAD is off. So we've got some more movement coming. So the market does look like it is putting a bit more pressure on. So heading to ADRs now on these CAD pairs. See where we go. Afternoon now. Gina, when you said protect profits before the results came out, did you also mean trades which were an additional position? Yeah, profit's profit. Yeah, if you got something in your P&L that's green, it's profit. Yeah, so before news, put that down here because you can spend this. I can't spend this. This is open. This is my business. This is what I can go to the bank, draw out, and go and spend. If you've got stuff here, put it down there. Doesn't matter whether it's position 1, 2, 3, 4, or 99. Yeah, if 99 is $700 in profit, take that $700. Because if it disappears and turns into $700 in drawdown, you've lost it. But if you take the $700 and put it down there and it goes against you, you can add it back on and then take it off again. You win twice at some point. So let's see what's happening with this US. Nothing. So there's absolutely no impact on the US off of those inflation figures at all. Nothing. So the US dollar's not doing anything off the back of that at all. Just CAD movement. So everything rallying against the Canadian dollar. So we're getting another pound CAD short on today. That average back up into here. So that New Zealand dollar CAD that I've just taken off there. So that position there was in profit. So I've taken it off there, banked it. So it's pushing up. So what happened now is if this continues to push up into here today, there's my next short. So I'll add it again, which means I can take it off again. So I profited from it there and I'll profit from it again later. If it had gone my way, after taking that off and price had pushed down, that becomes profitable. So all that would happen is you don't make that much money on that one, but you can't have it both ways, can you? Afternoon, Ismet. What strategies are you currently using? Just H1M5, same as always. Same as I've been doing for years and years and years. Nothing changes. I don't change anything. Yeah. H1M5 mean reversion or H4M15 mean reversion. It's mean reversion. It's just mean reversion. So same thing. Same as in the Bootcamp when I recorded it 4 years ago, however long it was I recorded it. It's exactly the same thing. When price gets stretched, I get in and I wait for it to come back down again. That's it. In those quiet times, I am taking all green every day. Cool. Trouble is, Piddy, you don't know when the quiet times are going to finish. That's the danger. So I've had plenty of opportunities to take profit on a lot of positions, but there's nothing wrong with doing that as long as the market does that. But if you do that constantly and then the market does that, it just becomes more difficult to get out, doesn't it? But if we knew when to do what we needed to do, we would do it. But we don't. It's part of trading, just managing your positions, isn't it? So all trading is managing positions. That's literally all you're doing. You're getting into the market, see what happens, manage that trade. That's it. I have the third position on New Zealand dollar Swiss in nice profit. There's no point in banking New Zealand. Well, it's up to you. What you do in New Zealand dollar Swiss. I'm not in New Zealand dollar Swiss, but I'm assuming you got in here, somewhere around there and somewhere around here. So your average is going to be somewhere around here, isn't it? Looking for a pullback. If you take this position off, say you've got a position here, if you take that off there and price comes down to here, you can get out of those two, no problem. If you take that one off there and price pushes up to there, you can add that one back on again. And then if it goes into a range, you can take it off again or all of them off again. Up to you. There's no right or wrong at all. It's What do you want to do? This is not affected by the Canadian dollar in any shape or form. It's not affected by the pound in any shape or form. And it's not affected by the US dollar in any shape or form. The only news we've got today is CAD, US, and pound. So the New Zealand dollar Swiss isn't going to do anything till tomorrow morning. Yeah. So what I would say is if you're in a short here from somewhere and it's in profit, and let's say price ends up somewhere like this at midnight tonight, I would take that off because at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, the New Zealand dollar is going to go nuts. And I don't know which way it's going because the rates aren't going to change. We know that, but that doesn't mean it's not going to go nuts. So it will go nuts. So if you're in a position there and it gets down to here and you bank it tonight, tomorrow morning when you wake up, yeah, if you've got one there and one there, for example, and your average is here, you will either be in drawdown on these two and adding this one back on again, or you will be down here and you'll be taking that off and that off. Those are the scenarios that are going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but if you've got 3 positions on, this one's in profit, at the end of the day, you have a choice of either banking that or holding it and hoping. You've got a 50-50 shot. It's either going to do that or that tomorrow. Might even do both. Yeah, we don't know. You manage your position, you manage your trades. This is why no one ever gets the same results, and this is why I don't publish any results from the EAs or anything, because you cannot publish results from an EA that works on randomness. All markets work on randomness. Yeah. So if I publish any result of anything, every backtest I ever put out there is just historical data. Whether you bank now or you bank at midnight or you hold this until tomorrow morning, there are 3 different results. Which is the right one to do? You will know tomorrow morning. No one else on the planet can tell you what to do with your trades. It's your money, it's your bank, it's your account, it's your positions. If you're sitting at the moment in 15% a drawdown, I'd probably bank it. If you're sitting in 10% profit with 3% a drawdown, I'd probably leave it. But what I do and what you do will be based on your comfort levels, your drawdown, the positions you have on, how long you've been in those positions, what your swap fees are, how much you've banked this week, this month, and yesterday. That decision-making process as to whether you shut that trade or not is based on you and your human psychology, nothing else. Nothing, there's no rule that says it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do to take that trade there. Because sometimes it's the right thing to do, sometimes it's the wrong thing to do. If you take it off and it goes like that, it's the wrong thing to do. If you take it off and it goes like that, it's the right thing to do. If you take it off and it goes like that, is it the wrong thing to do? Might have been the right thing to do. I don't know. What do you think? I can't answer that question. Because it's you, not me. Everyone's in a different situation. But you can spend stuff that you bank. You can't spend open drawdown or open profit. You can't. Anything on your open P&L is unspendable. Anything closed P&L, you can go out for dinner with it. That's the difference. I saw it also at US dollar pairs, like the banks know the news before. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. The one thing I would say, though, Pappy, is, does it matter? If the banks know or not before news what's going to happen, how does that affect you? If you are short on something and it suddenly starts to move up before the news because they know it's doing that, how does that affect you? It doesn't. If it goes up, you deal with your position and you get out of it later. Whether there's all these conspiracy theories about banks and institutions knowing, Lagarde stands up and gives a wink with her left eye if she should buy it, wink with the right eye if you should sell it during the press conference. Might be true. Scratch that, buy, sell. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories about whether banks know what they know, whether they use it, whether they don't use it, whether he tells this, that doesn't affect you in any shape or form. It's either going up or down. Whether they know has got nothing to do with how you trade, because you don't know. They do. They move it. You don't. Nothing makes any difference. All that makes a difference is when you're in a position, how do you manage that position? Which is why it's, as I keep saying, it's not important how you get in, it's important how you manage the position you're in. How can you give you a view on euro pound? If there's any pairs you want to look at, let me know, because I've covered basically everything today, because there's nothing to look at. Even with that news, there's still no ADRs. So euro pound I'm long on at the moment. So the euro, obviously, we're expecting to drop over the next few weeks because the interest rates are coming down in a couple of weeks' time. So I'm long from that H1M5 entry there. Got second position taken yesterday. We've got 3-week support and monthly support coming up here. So next long for me is there. So for me, ideally, I'd like it to drop, because there's a hell of a lot more people down here buying it than there is here. So if we can get down to there, there's more chance of a pushback. But euro is obviously bearish overall. Pound, from what we've just heard this morning from the IMF, is also bearish. Yeah. So if we're expecting a 1% drop here, at the moment, from what they have said, the ECB, we're looking at somewhere between 0.5% to 0.75% drop, because they're going every other month. So basically a bearish up against a bearish is a range. So it's extended. So it's a buy at the minute, back up into here. If you want to be brave, I'm getting out here. Again, where you get out is entirely up to you as well. I posted some charts in Telegram this morning because people were asking for targets. It's always the same. For me, it's either a percentage of my account. If I can get 0.5% of profit in my P&L, put it in the bank, or if I can get to the most recent propulsion gap above my average price, that's my target. If there isn't one, I'll look at a decent support resistance area above my average. Yeah. So I've put my target there because it's below that propulsion gap, below that support resistance. If it gets there, I'm out. If it gets there, I'm out too soon. Does it matter? Much nice to get out there, but what happens if it goes to here, does that, sits around, then drops back down to here, and then flies up to there? You're sitting in it for another 3 weeks. I'd rather just be out and probably back in again short. So, but ideally, we'll get a little bit more drop on it down into this support area, and obviously that gives them an opportunity then to buy it back up again. But it is bearish overall, so you've got to be a bit careful with this euro pound, because it's obviously massively range bound. But when that euro rate does drop, if that pound doesn't drop for 2 or 3 months, there's a good chance we might get into quite a prolonged drop on it. But because the way the euro is dropping, i.e. 0.25, miss a month, 0.25. This is their forecast anyway. So we're looking at June, July, August, September, October. Yeah. 0.75 is the likely drop this year. 1% is potentially the drop on the pound, because we'll probably go a little bit faster because our inflation's lower, or getting lower. So there's very little in it. So that's probably what you're going to see the vast majority of the time with this pair. Unless there's a big news event, like an interest rate change, which will do that. And that's where I got in last time, if you remember. No, it wasn't. It was here, wasn't it? That was last entry there. And you had to sit through this. But longs at the moment. But we'll see. But yeah, it's obvious. I mean, this is an ADR away, look. So this is in reaching distance today. If Bailey comes out later and pumps that pound, we'll find ourselves down here very, very quickly. If Bailey comes out later and dumps the pound, we're going to be at target. So either way, I'm getting into another position or I'm getting out if Bailey moves the market this afternoon, 6 o'clock. But we will see. Have you heard of Robert Carver? No. Never heard. Is it possible that you repeat your view and analysis about Euro Swiss? I don't think I did Euro Swiss, did I? Short at the moment. If you're trading the Swiss. So one or two things is happening here. We are either in a price discovery phase, which will fail. So false breakout. We'll be back down into here. Or it's breaking out and it's going to hold and continue this run. But it could well go sideways, wait for that 24 to catch up and then bounce from there. Don't know. But the Euro Swiss should be fairly sideways. We've got a bearish stance on the Swiss franc because the interest rate drop's already started. The euro drop's happening in 2 weeks. So that's a bear against a bear, which equals nothing. Sideways. Fundamentally, that is. Technically, it's a breakout at the moment. So if it's going to retest the breakout highs, it's either there or there, depending where you class that breakout as happening. It's that propulsion move. Got an M pattern going in at the moment. So a break of that low. But you've had a reversal alert on this already today. Sorry, yesterday. You retest. So short at the moment. But it's just not moving. It's like everything's just not moving at the moment. DAX, haven't got the DAX. No point in looking at the DAX. DAX was this morning. Gone. Is there any more educational content? Nope. Have nothing more to teach. As everything I know about trading and everything I've learned in the last 15 years is on the website in those 3 tabs. I have nothing else I can say. That's it. That is everything I know. Everything I do. So there's nothing. There is nothing else. I haven't got anything else that I can add. I'd love to be one of the, if I was a YouTuber, I'd be releasing videos every week. If I was selling courses, I'd be releasing videos every week. I haven't got anything else to say. Everything is there. So I don't have any more content really that I can put together because I've said everything. Everything I know to be true, anyway. I can make stuff up and I could cover, stuff. To me, there's no point in regurgitating content. Yeah, I could make videos about candlestick patterns. I can make videos about this, that, and the other. It's all out there already. If you want to learn about anything in trading, you can go and find it out. If you want to learn how the market moves, about fundamentals, all that information's out there on the web. But until you start doing it, you won't understand how it actually works on a day-to-day basis. And that's just doing. And the best way to do is to get in, press the button, go short with 0.03 lots and wait, see what happens. If it goes your way, take the money. If it doesn't go your way, scale into the position. That's it. There's nothing much else to teach. I don't know of any tool on the planet that can predict price movement. So therefore, there's nothing much else I can say. It's either going to go up, it's going to go down, and that is going to happen over the next X days, weeks, hours, candles, whatever. That's the reality of it. If that reversal alert kicks in now, it's either going to hold or it's going to fail. Everything, every indicator is telling you what's happened. The W pattern reversal alert there is telling you that the market participants have shifted at this support resistance level for the last 3 weeks long. What happens next? I have no idea. That's why it's so easy trading, because you don't have to overcomplicate it. Press the button, get in. Is it green? Take it. If it's not, wait till it's green, then take it. That's it. If it gets really, really, really badly red, get out. Make a loss. All you can do. Even the fundamentals, these fundamentals at the moment are just ridiculous. You look at the New Zealand dollar moves that we're getting on these New Zealand dollar news events. It's just ridiculous. The stuff that we're seeing from all the fundamentals is nonsensical. we get interest rates changing on the New Zealand dollar, or rather not changing on the New Zealand dollar. And the New Zealand dollar takes off like a lunatic for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. Yeah, that is a no news event at a support level. Yeah, that was a no news event at a resistance level. What does price do? Move from support to resistance. So where do we think it's going now? The news is coming out tomorrow for the New Zealand dollar. The interest rate isn't going to change. I think it's going to happen, but I don't know. So if you believe tomorrow that by not changing the New Zealand interest rate, it will go down, hit the sell button. If it doesn't, wait for it to go up to somewhere it's been before and then hit the sell button again. That's trading, isn't it? That's what we do. Executing orders, seeing what happens, taking money or not taking money. The most annoying thing about the markets is when you have to just sit there for a whole day and no movement happens. Yeah. This is why I do research. This is why I'm constantly researching and building EA models and doing all this stuff, because there's nothing to do. This is why I said I program these dashboards so that I don't have to watch the markets, because they don't move 90% of the time. When they do move, you need to know about it. If they don't move, not a lot you can do. The temptation is, if something isn't moving on an hourly time frame, yeah, like the New Zealand dollar CAD, if you're sitting here and it's not moving very much on the hourly time frame and you can't make any money out of it, the temptation is to immediately jump down to a time frame where it moves more, 5 minutes, so you can take advantage of this randomness. This is what kills 90% of traders, trading algorithmic chop. So that's the whole point of the dashboards. Take the temptation away. If it hasn't hit its average daily range, it hasn't moved enough to warrant any kind of volatility in the market. Forget it. If it hasn't hit its relative strength levels, it hasn't moved enough for you to get involved in it. If it's sitting around doing this for days on end, you should not be involved in it, because it's just chopping you to pieces. By the time you've identified it sitting around like this and you go, brilliant, there's a lovely range opportunity, it's ready to stop being in a range and you've missed your opportunity. Then it starts to move. So then you'll start to take the breakout just as it pulls back into there, because it's a movement. All we're interested in as traders is something moving. If it's not moving, it's very hard to make money out of it. And that's what it spends 80% of its time sitting there doing at the moment, especially. Nothing. Waiting for news. And even non-news, look, New Zealand dollar CAD. That's the extent of our news. Pitiful, isn't it? Morning, Brian. Less is more. Exactly. Less is more. Look at that beautiful stop out. Price got nowhere near that. Did Robo Forex always had US stocks on MT4? I don't know. I don't trade stocks, so I can't answer that one. Hourly candles just closed. We've got some volatility coming in. Bank of Canada, June rate cut chances rise to 48% from 40% on the CPI data. So basically it's a 50-50 shot next month. So there's no edge, no advantage either way. Like I said, you'll probably be back down here within the hour. Yeah, I don't know about the stocks. As far as I can remember, they've always been there, the stocks, but I've never really looked at them, so I don't pay much attention. They're only CFDs as well. They're not futures as far as I know. So you'll probably find they'll trade around the clock as well. Every day is a learning day. Exactly. You can never learn enough. It's always that thing where, you know, if the market pushes far, you go, I've never seen it go this far. And then it will push further and you go, I've never seen it go this far. and then you'll see it collapse. You go, never seen it collapse that big. Always something happens in this market that is unprecedented that you've not seen before. US dollar CAD ADR. So there's your first ADR hit. I'm going to take that US dollar CAD off. Thanks for that. Out of that, 8 days. See, look, this is the reality at the moment, isn't it? Trading. Get in, sit around for 4 days, have a drop, sit around for 4 or 5 days, bit of news. This is the only thing that's making this thing work at the minute. It's going to hit my target now. You watch. Wherever my target, I think my target's propulsion, wasn't it? So yeah, banks US dollar CAD. This is the only profession that when you think you know it all, it smacks you with something new. Yeah, not very often though. Not very often you get something really new. Yeah, this is why it's important when you're doing any kind of back testing. You should always go and look at all different market regimes. Yeah, because there's always going to be a point where the market will change to something that you haven't taken into account. Yeah, so you've got to test the market when we've got high ADRs, low ADRs, things like COVID. You can't plan for COVID. This doesn't happen. But you've got to be able to test things when that market is happening, when it's a volatile market, you've got a big squeeze going on. You've got to test through all these tight little rangy bits. Yeah, so you've got to make sure you test everything. If you've tested everything there going back to 2017, so that's like 8 years, 7 years or so. Yeah, going back that far, you've probably seen 99% of what the market can throw at you, but there will always be something different that happens. Oil, Russia invading Ukraine. Oil did that. Yeah, we hadn't seen that before. I haven't seen a European war kick off before. I haven't anyway. So, there's always going to be something that happens, but the things that are abnormal are always caused by fundamental shifts. And those are the things that you will never be able to forecast. You'll never be able to test for. So this is why my testing at the moment runs from here to here and here to here, because this is normal regime. This is something that is abnormal, and there's very few strategies on the planet that would survive anything in there. This is a more volatile part than that part. So if your strategy works here and your strategy works here, it's going to work most of the time. You've had a hideous, huge bear run there, which recovered 50%, as it always does, followed by a horrible contracted range for pretty much the entire year of 2023. Yeah, so if you survive that and you survive that, and you survive that bull run and all this normal market condition, everything works. But all of a sudden, there'll be a civil war kickoff in the US that we've never seen before, and something will happen. Can't predict that sort of stuff. So the best thing you can do is test everything over what you've seen happening in the past. But there will always be something that will come along on something and kick you in the backside, like US dollar yen did with me. Yeah. Where did I get out of this? Waiting for that thing to happen. It's just, I knew it was coming. You just can't time these things. I will know next time to hold on. And what I will do next time is I will just start taking losses gradually rather than close the whole thing out. Because if I'd have waited 24 hours, in fact, it was less than 24 hours, wasn't it? It was somewhere up here. If I'd have waited 12 hours, I'd have made a massive profit. I managed to get profit off that anyway, but that was luck. Half of this thing is luck as well, which you also learn. How many times do you press the button and 10 minutes later it's gone and collapsed in your direction? Take it. Nothing wrong with a bit of luck. Regarding your P&L, is your swap fees included in that? I don't know. Yes, yeah. Yeah, because this shows open profit from your P&L. This is what appears in your account history. Civil war in the US. You've been to cinema again? No, I haven't yet. I really, really wanted to see that as well in the cinema, but I don't think I'm going to get a chance now. I had to go and see Fall Guy instead. Not quite the same. Still a good film though. Right. So this afternoon we got 2 o'clock. Waller's speaking at the moment. There we go. US dollar CAD pops higher. Yeah, that's obvious. So we've got Waller speaking at the moment. So just keep your eyes peeled on financial juice. There may be something said, but the Fed have literally got no clue at the moment what is going to happen to this. So there's absolutely nothing they can say about that at the moment that we don't already know. It ain't happening. Yeah, this isn't going down. That is quite a distinct possibility. That is not going down. So even if Waller comes out and says, I think there's going to be a 0.5% drop this year, the market will go, yeah. The only thing that could scupper stuff is if the Feds start talking about hikes, in which case obviously the US will take off. But there's nothing really, I don't think, that the Fed can say at the moment to really move this market. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. But Bailey, we are waiting for guidance as to when that interest rate is going to change. We haven't got anything concrete really yet. Somewhere between 2 to 3 months. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that this evening. So we might get something out of that. But other than that, it's waiting for tomorrow. So that was today's news. We've just had another CPI, another ADR hit. Aussie dollar CAD. ADR. So you might get some RSI extensions on these Canadian dollar pairs as well. Opportunities to short. We've got resistances coming up as well, which you're going to find limit orders triggering at. That's 125 ADR. This news, don't forget, it's not big enough for the market to go mental on it. It's ever such a slight drop. Ever such a slight drop on what we were forecasting to happen anyway. So we were expecting a 2.7. We got a 2.6. Whoop-de-doo. And that's year-on-year figure. It's taken 12 months to do that. Yeah, this is the one that we're interested in right now, which is your monthly figure. What's happening right now? Nothing. It's not changing. And it's not any different to what we were expecting. So this is not a big news event. So don't expect too much movement off this CAD. And as you can see, nothing else really paying any attention to this at all today. So apart from obviously the Canadian dollar yen will come down because it's the CAD. So anything you can bank on CADs, take it. Other than that, I think it's a case of waiting for tomorrow, really. So tomorrow morning, New Zealand dollar. So again, same thing. I will be looking at my P&L. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. That's in profit. If that is still there tonight, it's coming down here. And then obviously, if it gets back up to where that entry was taken, I'll add it on again. If it goes down, that's going to come into profit, and that's all going to come into profit as well. So that's all I've got really that I can take off at the moment. So I'll be managing that overnight. But it's just a case of waiting for tomorrow now for the New Zealand dollar. So Aussie dollar as well. When the New Zealand dollar moves, the Aussie tends to move as well. So just bear that in mind. If you've got anything Aussie that's in profit, you'll find that could potentially move a lot as well. So just bear that in mind if you've got anything that you can see on your P&L that's Australian or New Zealand related, worth sticking it in the bank tonight. All right, so that's about it. Nice breakout there. Price discovery failure or breakout. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, going to do morning session because we'll be looking at the rates and what's happened with New Zealand dollar. So we've got also tomorrow the pound at 7 a.m. So before the market opens, we've got the CPI numbers for the pound. Year on year, we're expecting a 1.1% drop. I suspect that's exactly what we're going to get. So I don't think there's going to be much deviation on that, but depending on what Bailey says this evening, if he says something along the lines of if that inflation target keeps getting hit, we will be bringing interest rates down X, and we hit that target tomorrow, the market will react. If we don't get any clues from Bailey, it's a case of seeing what the market decides. But I'll be on at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll have a look at those New Zealand rates. We'll watch the CPI numbers, or I'll have a look at the New Zealand CPI numbers for the pound. And then we'll do a full rundown of all the FX pairs again tomorrow and see where everything's going. But that's about it for today. So we'll wait and see where we are. Yeah, have a look at the rest of it tomorrow. All right. So have a good day. Anything you need, I'll be in Telegram or Discord. Other than that, good luck if you're trading the US markets this afternoon. Might find they're a bit volatile, but be careful. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning. Other than that, if I don't see you then, I'll be back on Thursday afternoon. All right. So have a good day and good luck.